and Desolation of Salt. I'm probably not going to go to Desolation of Salt. So this is always an interesting one to me because Qazlal, pretty good, open-ended or open-air environment. You can kind of blast your way through the crowds as they come. The tricky bit is that Calm Winds removes my storm clouds, which sucks. I probably don't need to go there. It'd be a flex if I did, and yeah, let's not get too crazy. Also, just realized that I didn't even put on my scarf. That's what I'm going for. Got there eventually, brain. Okay, well, we took a surprising amount of damage there, I guess, from our lightning friend here, so that makes sense. Up to 54. Hooray. Could at least peak, you're not wrong. Though, knowing my own brain, usually a peak very quickly makes way to a way of life, and we will continue going just as far as we possibly can. I'll fight for a little bit here, even though I definitely should not be. In fact, already coming to regret this. Fear Squirrel, how are you looking in this day and age? Pretty good. Oh, the lightning buddy did not get feared. What the heck? Well, Ponderousness, definitely. Your point with Hat will not get across with these mini blings. You know, I was just actually thinking the same thing. That the hat is very quickly revealing itself as a problem. It's weird because when I first found it, my risk proposition was off the charts, and I knew this could kill me. And then somewhere in the middle, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. So, first and foremost, let's put on the scarf, as we said we were going to. Perfect. That's step one. Step two, rethink Hat. The issue with Hat is that I kind of need that willpower. I could switch back to Cloak, you know, deal with not having missile repulsion and deal with not having fire resistance. But let's do something stupid instead. Why be smart when we could instead get ourselves killed off in ridiculous fashion? Is that really the best source of will? At this point, we don't have a lot of options. We can do a quick check here. You know, we have the ice ring. Doesn't really work for me. Stabs don't work. There is another ring of willpower. I don't really want to take up both ring slots, but I guess this ring is kind of useless. So there's definitely an argument to be made there, but we're just going to see what happens. We're going to run with it a little while longer. Again, I'm not too much of a stickler for optimal plays in this game, and will oftentimes do things just cause. Much to the chagrin of anybody watching who actually wants to see us succeed, but such is life, baby. And it usually ends up being a good fun romp anyway. Swapping the ring when needed, do not always need it on. True. I have some bad experiences. I mean, the very first time that you'll run across a wizard, I believe turn 1, frame 1, they will never banish you, because I think they actually can't do anything. There's like a discovery turn. But the flip side of that is that too often I've seen a wizard once without noticing, and then they step into view and abyss me, and it's an adventure, let's say. But yes, so anyone, you know, watching from home, especially if you're newer to the game, I would strongly recommend following chat's advice here, and should swap over, take off that silly hat, and play it a little bit safer and have the ability to switch rings. But we're gonna let it ride for now and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't immediately kill me. I'm hoping we have, you know, the tiniest bit of wiggle room, which so far this character has been fairly strong, but that is something that very quickly changes in this game, which is why Hubris is such a a nasty thing that always must be considered. Because it's pretty wild how you can go from 0 problems in the world to, oh no, oh gosh, please stop the bleeding, it's all going wrong. But I'm going to read teleport and probably get taken out of there. I'd like to face off against uniques in a slightly more, open air environment. Though I am still just spamming tab in all these fights. Which again, will almost definitely cause us problems in the future, but for the moment, it is beautiful. Not thinking, why don't I do this every run? Besides probably losing not just viewership, but also my own mind in the process. Every once in a while, it's nice to go a little mindless, but not too often. But okay, we hit our skill caps here once again. Whereas failure beats lame win any day. Exactly. Now you get it. How deep am I into the abyss on this run? 0. We have not made any ventures into the abyss. The thing that scares me about the abyss, this character, almost level 20, solid defenses, really good damage, holy branded weapon. You'd think the abyss is kind of the dream. The caveat there, or the issue I take with it, is Qazlal. The amount of noise you make in the abyss means that you will fight everything. There's no turning around corners and walking away from a scary enemy, and that has made characters that I've been flying with confidence, not a care in the world, I've taken them into the abyss and gotten them killed in spectacular fashion. So I'm trying to avoid that. Whether that's actually a necessary fear is maybe another question, but again, this weird dichotomy of strangely bold while also cautious with other things on the exact same hand is part of the the wackiness of our streams here. I guess what it all boils down to is I'm not like other boys, and I'm quirky and cool and weird. Which one of these days, actually probably already to this day, people have heard me make that joke and not realized it as such, and thought that I was basically the epitome of what has now become well known as cringe millennial humor, I guess. Or not even humor in that sense, but just perspective. Which, I do kind of fit into that camp in my own special way, but that just happens to not be one of them. But let's get blasting. As soon as we find ourselves getting slightly lower health than we like, especially in a group of enemies, we can just blast them all to Kingdom Come, and it basically pays for itself. So that is fantastic. Ooh, nice. Morningstar of the Fundamental Breach. And going into the breach as it is. And so big Valiant boost. I do like the silver lining approach. Always a fan of that. Can I teach the clouds to be quieter? We've been working on it. Tons of cloud classes, cloud training classes that we send them off to. Some of the best professionals in the realm, and unfortunately, none of it takes. Just got a bit of an attitude problem, these clouds. And okie dokie. Do I want to swap into Storm Dragon scales? I probably should. Only lose 6 AC, and it's one of the resistances that we're severely lacking. I mean, it's not a bad look either. Slightly a better blue hue to go with our aquamarine hat at the very least. Just the important things that we're considering here today. But I might keep that on for a while. It is a resistance that we're lacking. And never mind, I've changed my tune completely. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. I'm going to take this ring first and foremost. Thank you. Yeah, do you want a bit of positive energy? Has nothing on me. Let's put that ring on, and we can just swap right back over to our crystal plate armor. Cool. Of course, the main thing there is that we got electricity resistance, and while we're at it, fire and cold resistance off of our new ring here, so that is all fantastic. And but we have nothing to worry about on that front once more here. So we can just get into it. I have attraction potions, I can drink them so that even if I track the whole abyss, at least they're in my range. True. And as long as it's going well, I can see that being incredible. The issue therein is how quickly I feel that those turns could table, if you know what I mean. And I can probably finish off this fight. Again, why not go upstairs and heal, you may ask? And I don't have an answer for you. I have no reasonable logic going into my decisions, such as just the way it is. Oh, and we do it just long enough for the Vault Warden to show up. Fortunately, still not really a concern for us here. And that's fantastic. I also see my phone going off here. Just need to check in on there, make sure that no emergencies are going off, but we're looking all right here, so we can jump right back into it. Hey, Brain, how's it going? How have you been, my friend? I hope things have been going well over on your side of things. What just did a bunch of damage? I could go through the chat log, probably should go through the chat log, but instead we're just gonna finish the fight, I guess. And hey, it didn't kill me, so why worry about it, right? Just keep that naive optimism rolling. Use that trick in Tomb 2 during your Merfolk Gladiator run. That was the attraction strat you were mentioning. You can always say that I'm limit testing and no one can question me. Exactly. It's actually probably a similar reasoning that goes into me saying that I have my weird personal rules that I follow in this game. It's all a fallback so that if anything goes wrong, it is clearly or unequivocally not my fault, right? How could it possibly be? I am the godliest of gamers that ever did game. So, with that always being in mind, at the top of our mind, really, everything is intentional. It's like a death of the author theory. You assume that everything that they did was fully intentional, regardless of how reasonable that assumption actually is. Fantastic. Hello, all my undead friends. You chose the wrong Minotaur to cross here today. Holy weapon, no problem. In fact, probably should think about doing crypt on this run. I don't think we'll need the additional experience, so that kind of lends itself to not worrying too much about that. Let's see, 56 health. Do I have to start being worried? You do 50, and then we could also have lightning called down from on high. Stormform is basically axe, so same tactics. True. Yeah, got that nice cleave going. I guess we have so many heal wounds potions. Again, I'm used to having burned through half my consumables by this stage in the game, but because we've had such an easy ride up until this point, we actually have a pretty absurd number of those available to us. As long as I use them a bit more proactively than I have been. Minus, Scrolls of Blinking, I never use proactively. That's just not going to happen in this lifetime. So those happen when they happen. Usually. Okay. Tengu can be a problem. Tengu could still be a problem. I have one more Fear Scroll. Pretty decent odds across the board, so I'll probably use it. And let's try to take a couple steps away. That does not go well. We do have our Pondering Hat, of course. Still, even after all our issues with it, that's fine. Probably also should have used some curing. I'm not used to not having poison resistance on this character. Of course, thought we were fairly safe to do so at this stage in the run, and have been very much proven into the negative in that regard, but hey, no real issues here. And will I learn anything from my mistakes? Let's not be silly. Like, let's not be ridiculous. And we'll just keep going. Is Hexslinger rework in this version or in trunk only? Lost track. I believe that's trunk just because I have no idea what that entails. Which I still say I think that's in trunk because, as mentioned early on in the stream, I don't have the most wherewithal or knowledge when it comes to the game. So I'm always pretty quick to assume that I'm probably missing something, or very well could be missing something in this case. But okay, we hit all of our skill caps, so where do we wish to go from here? Now is maybe when Invocations just turns on for the rest of the run. No real issues with that. I should be using this throwing skill a bit more often now that I have trained it up to 16. Even with just boomerangs, we can deal a pretty absurd amount of damage, so that's probably in our best interest to take advantage of. Similarly, let's get Invo up a bit higher so that we can use all of our rechargeable evocables to an absurd degree here. And not too shabby. Buckler of Reflection is very tempting, and in fact, I can take 2 hits from Titanic Slime. I can take 3 hits, but I won't have to. Heck yeah, brother. Shielding goes down by how much? 3 goes down by 5. That is definitely not too much for me to want to do that now. We have the extra shielding from Qazlal as well, and Reflection brand while getting to retain our regen amulet is huge. So that's fantastic. Is there any merit in training weapon skill after Hidden Min delay? Technically, yes. Technically, you'll still increase your damage with it. In fact, if we take a look here at our axe, we can see the formula nowadays. And so this skill, that percentage scaling, will continue to go up. Generally, min attack delay. Oh, is that 18? I need more axe training. Wait, what? Have I lost my mind? Anyway, back to the general train of thought there, but I guess I will train you. I don't know why it's not giving me the option to set it as such, and I'm already at min delay. So there's some funkiness going on here that I'm confused by. But yeah, it's generally not considered worth it to train into the high levels of a weapon skill, with the exception of throwing in unarmed. Because unarmed is all about the scaling and doesn't really have the base damage to back it up. That's your best bet there. With weapons, oftentimes you have a good enough base damage on them that you just want min attack delay, and then all the damage just falls out from there. Unless you have nothing to train, then obviously go for it. Or if you find some good manuals that, happen to be fitting for what you're aiming for, awesome. Yeah, it's not something I generally worry my my little head about. Okie dokie. Let's hope that this floor goes a little bit more smoothly. I guess I could be trying to find this Wiz Lab portal. We got distant here, so let's head up this general direction for now. Very distant, so let's head right on back. All right. 2 potions of heal wounds. I'll potentially come back for you. Very nearby. Okay, so I think it's going to be in this chamber here, if I had to guess. And as always, we'll take a peek into a Wiz Lab. Why not? Not gonna tempt fate with any other phrasing there that came to mind. Instead, we're just gonna give it a shot here and see how it goes, I guess. And we get Tukima's studio. Tukima. Is this Dancing Blades? I want to say this is Dancing Blades. Oh, I don't even have a browser window open to do my little side research here, because as we've covered many times here, Wiz Labs are one of the few time portals that I still to this day will always do a quick check to see what might be coming up in them. So we can go into Wizard Laboratory, as it were. Maybe, if internet wants to cooperate, and let's check out Takima's studio. It does immediately say dancing weapons, so was correct about that one. Won't need much preparation to deal with the contents if all you're doing is going in, getting the treasure, and getting out. With one significant exception, the strange machines can summon clones of the player. Huh. I don't like that for sure. Well, we can at least check it out. Should be fine. All the dancing weapons I can't imagine will be too much of an issue for us, so with that in mind, let's be proven wrong, shall we? Let's see how it goes. Definitely taking a decent chunk of damage here so far, and the glaives haven't even joined the party yet. 2 venom weapons. Fun. Elemental damage is not going to do a lot for us. Huh. Phantom Mirror the clone, so you finally have a fun party. Oh, I like that idea for flavor for sure. But okie dokie, maybe I do just get out of here. Turns out I was a little too ambitious in my original assessment. But let's do a check. 42 damage, 45 damage. I mean, yeah, do I really care if I leave? Probably not. I judge myself for sure for diving in probably a little too headstrong, when a bit of, precaution here at least wouldn't have gotten us into quite as nasty of a situation, and very likely could have cleared this entire place no problem. But hey, it is what it is. It was a nice trip. We got to see some sights of the world. It's interesting at the very least, but not our cup of tea. So we'll just get the heck out of Dodge and probably find ourselves in the same situation sometime out here, just by tab fighting through everything. Oh me, oh my. Invoker decides for whatever reason just not to do their main thing, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. Oof. Repel missiles, not doing a heck of a lot for me these days, huh? 48 extra cold damage. We at least have 2 pips of cold resistance against that son of a gun. 36 plus an extra 10. So definitely a lot of Yaktar damage coming down. Very easily could get myself killed here. I want to take one step up, but I don't know if I can afford to. The advantage there is that these Yaktars are no longer shooting at me. This buddy will still be attacking. That's probably worth it. And then I just call upon the elements. Rah, rah, rah. One more time for good measure. Perfect. Down to 30 health. Starting to be a little bit on the scarier side, but nothing we can't handle. Not a problem in the world. Oh me, oh my. We'll take occasional shots from you with our ponderousness, but I am a-okay with that. And perfect. I guess we have repulse missiles and we have reflection, and I was still getting just demolished by our Yaktar friends. Yikes.